In the next two tutorials, we're going to look at using MassFX for creating physics-based animations. This is quite easy in 3ds Max, as you'll see. I've got here a plane subdivided sufficiently to animate for cloth. That'll be my flag. I've got a flagpole just to animate the cloth against. So if I take that plane, I want to convert it into a MassFX cloth object, and in order to do that I need to see my MassFX toolbar. If it's not showing up here on your main toolbar, right click the main toolbar and select MassFX, and that will come up. You've got a number of little buttons here, and we'll go through them as we go through these tutorials. So with my plane selected, I'm going to click on this t-shirt here and set selected as an mCloth object. That puts an mCloth modifier on the plane and means that it is now included for simulation within MassFX. In order to see that cloth doing something, we can click on one of these simulation buttons. So we can click on Start Simulation or Start Simulation without animation. Insofar as we just want to see what happens to the cloth initially, I'm going to set Start Simulation without animation and see what happens. And as I do that, you can see my cloth is dropping to the ground and it's crumpling up in a mess at the bottom of the flagpole. Let's stop that and rewind. So this cloth object, it's set up okay for animating, as we can see, but it's falling to the floor. So we want to link the cloth to this flagpole. So let's go to open out the mCloth and select Vertex. And I'm going to select some verts from our cloth object here like this. So let's say select these, and these. So those vertexes, I'm going to click on Make Group. Doesn't matter what I call them, Group 1 is fine. And I'm going to now click on Node and click on my flagpole. Let's now play our simulation, and you can see now our cloth is stuck to the flagpole where we've selected verts to animate with it, and it's kind of flapping lazily there. Let's do something a bit more interesting by putting in a wind into our simulation. So let's reset, and we're going to go to Create, and the second last tab along here, Space Warps, we're going to go into that and select Wind, and we're going to drag a wind in one of our viewports there. I'm just going to rotate it. Choose which way I want the wind to blow. That's fine. And in order for the wind to affect the flag, we need to go into our simulation settings. So if I go to the forces, I can click on Add, and I can select my wind. So now that wind will hopefully blow the flag when we start simulation without animation again. And it's kind of hard to see it's doing a whole lot just yet. So let's go and maybe move that wind around. And we are also going to adjust its strength to say something like 15. And let's give it some turbulence and see how that works. Now let's play our simulation again. And the wind is having some effect now on our flapping flag. So we can adjust the turbulence, adjust the wind strength to get a different effect. Let's say we're really now happy with our animation. We can click on change from Start Simulation without animation to Start simulation. And now you can see the timeline is running through the track bar there. We're getting our animation simulated. And when that's complete, we can now bake that simulation. So in our Mass Effects toolbar, up here, we can go to the little menu on the left here, and this brings up our Mass Effects tools. Let's just stop that simulation now. This brings up our Mass Effects tools, and we've got a number of settings we can adjust. So the scene settings, simulation tools, the object editor, and the display options. So if I go to the simulation settings, and I'm going to go to click on Bake All, that will convert our simulation into keyframes. Doing a little bit of thinking there. And this is going to take a little bit of a time. So once it's got our keyframes baked in, we have now got a keyframe for each one of those animations. So let's stop the tutorial at this stage and move on to